Now, other interesting cultural news, you have the Parkland police officer who cowardly didn't confront the shooter found not guilty. Now, given the precedent of the previous court cases, one should not be too surprised, but I think it's worth reviewing to give everyone kind reminders. Now, this particular officer was known as Scott Peterson. He was the Parkland High School officer. So think about that. He is dedicated to the school. His only job in life is protect those children and teachers. So he signed up for the job. He was stationed on-prem, on-site. His only job is to protect them. And he acquiesced from all responsibility. During the Parkland massacre, he did nothing. Calling that lack of action disgusting or abhorrent, cowardly, it doesn't adequately words can barely comprehend or barely express my disgust with his decision. And some might say, you might be scared too, it's unknown variables. Yeah, but it's also the job he chose. I'm sure many average people would be scared to death. But that's probably a reason not to sign up for that job. And also you have the Allen, Texas police officer, which we'll cover in a probably day or two. The audio for his encounter leaked, or rather, it was gained, and you heard he was scared shitless. But he manned up, as some might say, and he stopped the threat. Now, one of my favorite quotes is John Wayne says, being courageous, or courage rather, is saddling up knowing that you're still afraid. And the police officer in Allen did it in spades, some might say. He was scared to death, but he confronted the threat and he stopped it. Scott Peterson is the antithesis of bravery and that other officer. And because Scott Peterson did nothing, he was initially charged. And the parents of the children who had passed off too soon charged him, I think, appropriately. So he was charged with failing to confront the Parkland gunman who opened fire back in 2018 during the massacre, which led to 17 people dying, of which 14 were students. Now, as to why he was completely exonerated, I'm sure there's a fancy court term, but he's not charged. He's innocent, although morally, I don't know how he could sleep at night, because morally he is as guilty as sin. Now, during the court case, it was brought that the prior engagements, which again proved my point of long term that police have no duty to protect you. It's not their job, and technically isn't. And talking about specific court cases, you have the Supreme Court case in 1989 where you have DeShaney versus Winnebago County, in which social services concluded that and the Supreme Court actually concluded that social services have, quote, the state has no constitutional duty to protect Joshua against his father's violence, unquote, which was the subject matter of that particular case. Now, you also have the case of 2005, Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, which again made it to the United States Supreme Court. Now, in that case, you had a lady suing the police for failing to protect her from her abusive husband, who had violated his restraining order, abducted, and killed their 3 children. Again, the United States Supreme Court ruled that the police had no duty to protect. A kind reminder that it is up to you to protect yourself, your family, and your friends. That is the truth, which is all more concerning that the government is looking to disarm millions upon millions of Americans. And the people who are dumb enough to believe them say, oh yeah, the police will protect you. Every court case shows they have no legal stance, or nothing's going to force them to do that. And this just goes to show you that police officer in Parkland did nothing, and he was not punished at all. And knowing how times are, he'll probably, if he's not forced to retire, which I can't imagine him going back to work, he'll get probably a full pension, or maybe he'll just get paid leave for 20 years. Very little consequences depending on your political affiliations or the situation, it would seem. So it's one of those things where not a really happy ending. A lot of the parents of the deceased children are online. They're speaking their disgust with the current situation, as they should. And of course, this officer was jubilant. He was happy as a. He was relieved that he was, just got off scot-free. Although morally, he'll forever be known as a coward. And I have no sympathy for those types of men. And again, a kind reminder: always be prepared, and to always know that you need to do your duty. And time shall tell to see. Maybe this wakes some people up to those facts, and they'll realize, well, it's probably not a prudent decision to vote for laws that will disarm people and civilians when we're shown time and time again, police are also human. They can't be by you 24/7 protecting you, and also they have no legal reason to do it. So, as I always say, time shall tell, but justice was not served. My 3 cents. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Don't forget to take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. We have a goal of trying to get up to 3,000 subscribers in July. We really appreciate all of your help. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.